The guardianship of the girl is in the
Yeah.
hand of the father. As long as he's
Okay.
still alive, wherever he is,
Yeah.
he owns it. And no one has the right to take it away from him. Now, like I said, in your situation is a bit of a complicated
Yeah.
one in that you don't have a relationship with him. The point is we have an authentic hadith from Prophet ﷺ and many other ahadith and ayat that show that the woman cannot get married without her father's consent. I don't care about his color or his race or whether he's a revert or not. I want to ask you
Yeah.
is what do you see in him? Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this episode, we spoke to a sister. By the way, I saw a comment that really made me laugh. My brother was like, the way he said, oh, we spoke to a sister, as if it was anything other than sisters. Why do you know brothers, Jimmy? In the Naseeha session. They just don't come on the phone, huh? We've got a couple brothers, though. The episodes should be coming out, right? Yeah. But brothers just don't like to get advice, unfortunately, innit? So, anyway, we're speaking to a sister yet again. This sister is a very sad story, man. 28 years old, family's kind of making it very hard for her to get married. She's trying to keep on Deen. Her father's not about. Mum seems to wear the trousers in the family. She wears the pants in the... How was the saying? She wears the pants in the house? Yeah. Basically, mum runs things. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. The mum, she runs things, but she's running it obviously not nice, man. Like obviously sister found a revert and she's just saying no to him because of the color of his skin. What's the community going to say? You're going to marry a black man. So the conversation was a lot more than just that issue of racism that a lot of family members bring. But in this we kind of demonstrated just watch the video. So this conversation was actually quite interesting in that we explored the reasons behind why a woman should want to marry a man and what to do in a situation where your father is absent, and the importance of having religious male figures within the family that are basically pursuing your interest on your behalf. So I think inshallah ta'ala, a lot of sisters can benefit from this, and a lot of men can benefit from this as well because they learn how to be as a man. Do you understand? For your wife and your daughter. So watch the length of the conversation. And as you lot know, the drill, naseeha@gmail.com if you're trying to be on the next episode. Brothers are the ones in the comment that keep complaining. Why is it only sisters? It's because you are not emailing in, rude boy. Email in. Jimmy will be in touch with you, inshallah ta'ala. Set you up and we can have a chit chat. Listen, make sure you click the notification button next to the subscribe button and the little bell so you can get an instant notification every time one of these videos comes out. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing today? You okay?
Wa alaikum salam. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
Good. So I had a brief look at the message that you sent. Could you just run me by it one more time just to refresh my memory, inshallah, and then we'll try our best to help you out, inshallah.
Okay. So recently I've met a revert. Somebody introduced me to this revert, and he's Jamaican.
MashaAllah. Amazing.
Well, I'm like Kashmir. My family's from Kashmir. And I told my mom recently about wanting to marry this brother, and she kind of said no without meeting him, and then because she says he's black. And I said I've taken an interest in him, and I think he'd be compatible for me, vice versa. And so she agreed to meet him then afterwards.
Okay.
And so she met him, and then she said she wasn't really interested in talking to him, so she just seen him and she spoke to him. And she right after that she was like no. So it was kind of awkward for him because she's telling him basically no. And but he told her that he's interested in getting married.
Okay.
And then afterwards she spoke to me and she says she said that it's not going to happen, basically. That I would be bringing shame to the family.
Just because of the color of his skin.
Yeah, what she's saying is, I said, why? That's racist because I was brought up around all kinds of people, and so was she. So I was surprised at the reaction, but it's like other people have put that into her head, because I presume that she's spoken to other people.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then
that's really terrible.
She's talking about culture and how it's not going to last.
What about your father?
Reverts.
Have you spoken with your father?
I have a stepdad, and he's obviously just going to go with what my mum says.
So who's the person blocking it right now? It's mum, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like there's somebody else speaking to her.
As in like in her ear, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Sorry, I'm gonna ask loads of questions in this episode because this discussion, because I have to really understand your situation to be able to kind of like accurately advise you. Yeah. So, where's your actual father, if you don't mind me asking?
He left when I was 6 years old, about 5, 6.
Do you have any contact with him?
No, I've never had contact with him.
Can you make contact with him?
He doesn't want to. He wouldn't want to.
Have you tried?
When I was younger, I did, yeah. When I was about 16, because I was looking for answers, because I was brought up in an, not really practicing family. So I started observing the hijab and stuff, and I wanted to know who my father is.
MashaAllah.
And he just didn't want to know.
Okay, so first off the bat, you need to know something really, really important, okay?
Yeah.
The issue of who you marry is in the is in the hand of your dad. The guardianship of the girl is in the hand of the father. As long as he's still alive, wherever he is, he owns it. And no one has the right to take it away from him. Now, like I said, in your situation, it's a bit of a complicated one in that you don't have a relationship with him. So it needs to be established with certainty that there is a absence, that he is an absent father. An absent father here doesn't just mean that he disappeared. It means you can't reconnect with him. And you're trying to reconnect with him, and it's just not happening. This is something that an Islamic judge, or one who's doing the role of a judge, is going to do. So what I'm going to do now is, at the end of this meeting, I'm going to tell my colleague who is in touch with you via WhatsApp to put you in touch with someone from London that I know that does this job.
Okay.
His name is Ustad Muawiyah Taka. He's a graduate from the University of Medina. And he specializes in these type of issues, and he actually helps people, families, when they're in these kind of situations. So you give him a call at his office, inshallah ta'ala. I'll tell him to expect a call from you, and he will be the guy that will look into your situation, who'll investigate it, he'll try and touch base with your father, he'll basically play the role that is required from an Islamic perspective to be able to ascertain who's got the guardianship right now. Does that make sense? And he'll also give you some really good advice about your actual situation. So that's something I just want to bring to your attention, that the guardianship is in your father's hand, and you need to establish connection with him. And if you're not able to establish connection with him, to ascertain that he is a father that is ghaib, he's absent. That's not something that you can do. That's not something that your family can do. That's not something that your neighbor can do. Someone who is qualified in the Islamic sciences can do.
Okay.
And this is a person I'm going to put you in touch with, inshallah ta'ala, who's going to be able to help you do that. Okay? So that's very important, because you can't get married even if you want to. Ever, until you solve this problem. I really want to understand how serious that is. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, a nikah bi ghayri waliyin, without a wali, without a guardian, is batil, it's false. And the Prophet ﷺ said it 3 times. 3 times. I know in the Hanafi madhab, they take the view that the woman can marry herself off, but that is a view that is based on analogy due to the absence of evidence having reached the Imam of the madhab. But when the evidence comes, even Imam Abu Hanifa would have taken it. Do you see? So when the evidence comes, you take it. You know what I'm saying? If the evidence comes to you and it's clear to you it's authentic, perhaps the evidence came to the Imam, but he didn't see it to be authentic. Whatever the reason why he didn't take it, the point is we have an authentic hadith from Prophet ﷺ and many other ahadith and ayat that show that the woman cannot get married without her father's consent. Her father is the one that will marry her off. Does that make sense? So it's not impossible. There are procedures put in place if you cannot get in touch with your father, but that is a procedure that you have to follow, because the whole point of having a guardian there is to be able to protect and safeguard the woman, right? Obviously, in your situation, if the father's absent, that's not a nice situation for you. But the Sharia just can't be dismantled like that. There's a legal process that has to be administered here, basically. So that's really, I need you to take that very seriously to do that after. Yeah. So that's that.
Okay.
And he will deal with that side of things with you. But let's go back now to the situation of your mum, because obviously, your dad also may not agree, or your dad might agree, but you don't want to go to war with your mum at the end of the day, right? So let's try and see if we can solve this issue. So coming back to the situation, you're saying her only issue is his color, right? Okay. Now, in the absence of do you have any men in your family that are practicing, like you're close to, like your brother or nothing? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so inshallah, what I'm gonna do right now is temporarily. I'm gonna try and play the role of a father / brother for you right now. Okay, so I'm gonna try and have a conversation with you, as a father should have a conversation with his daughter, or in the absence of a father, a brother who would have this conversation with his sister, right? So I'm gonna basically have the kind of conversation that your mum should have had with you, basically. Okay. So I don't care about his color or his race or whether he's a Revert or not. I want to ask you is, what do you see in him?
I see genuineness, because I've not seen it in a man before. Like obviously from how I was brought up, and I kind of stayed away. Like alhamdulillah, Allah's protected me from the major sins, and I've kind of stayed away from from them kind of situations. So I feel like he's serious, takes the religion seriously, and he's just genuine. I just feel like he's genuine.
Okay, so what is it about him that makes you feel like he's genuine?
He just came the right way. Like, how guys outside will be like, can I take your number and all of that. But he was just like, I want to do the right thing. And like, he wanted to come to my house, even though I said it will be an issue. And he still came. And it's just, I just seen that he has good intentions.
Okay, so that actually sounds really wonderful, and I really respect him and admire him for doing that. But my concern for you, sister, is that enough to want to give yourself to a man for marriage for the rest of your life? Just the fact that he came to you the right way. Are there not other men that could come the right way? Are there not other qualities that are more important for a woman to look for in a husband? He may have them or he may not. But I'm just trying to explore with you. Because, and I tell you that there's something. There's a reason why I'm asking this question, and the reason I'm asking this question is that my worry for you is that a woman, a girl, every girl needs the love of a man in her life. Okay, and the first man who should give her love is a father. And when a father doesn't give the girl the love that she deserves, or that she requires, or the love that she needs, she will naturally seek to fulfill that void in her life, such that any man who comes along with some kind of genuineness, and it may not even be real, it could be fake, it could be pretense, because us men are very good at manipulation. I tell you that as a man. Men are very good at manipulating. I'm not saying that he is, but I'm just trying to talk to you as a father or a brother would sincerely talk to his daughter, his sister, who's genuinely concerned for her. Right? So the way my concern is, and my fear is, that are you just trying to fill the void that your father left behind by just seeing a guy who's being nice, who's being genuine, but you're not really looking deeper than the surface, as in the surface is a lot deeper than he asked the right way, which is good, admirable, and definitely a good starting point, but it gets deeper than that. What about compatibility? What about his prospects in terms of career? What about his temperament? There's a lot more to look at than just he came the right way. Do you see my point, sister?
Yeah, I totally understand. I think I did when I was younger, because my family kind of pushed me into getting married when I was 22. And he was from Kashmir, and I agreed because I thought my family was happy. I would be happy. But I agreed to it, and it basically was just a signature and a piece of paper, and then I was back home.
This happened back home, subhanAllah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came back to England, and it really messed me up, like, mentally, and I didn't want to get married after that. I've had loads of proposals come to my house. My mom's been trying to push me to get married, but I said no, because that really messed me up.
Okay.
And it kind of put me off getting married completely. And I've spoken to people, and every guy that she brought to the house, my first question would be, do you pray? I know it's not nothing big to people, but to my mom, it was like, you shouldn't ask that question.
Mashallah, I'm really
But to
proud of you
me,
for asking that question. I'm really proud of
yeah,
you. That's mashallah, very
yeah,
good, because so many times sisters come and they say, "Oh, there's a guy.
yeah,
He's really nice. He's really caring about religion." And I
yeah,
say, "Do you even know if he prays?" And they're like, "To be honest, I don't know. I
yeah,
guess." I'm like, that's not something you can guess. That's not guess. You have to know. Does he
no,
pray or
yeah,
not? That's very good, mashallah.
yeah,
Very good, very good. Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
yeah. So it's like these little things, like religion is important to me, like money isn't, but to my family is, he needs to have money, he needs to have this. So it doesn't matter what he's doing, how he's getting his money, he needs to be able to get money. But whereas I don't see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have somebody who's strong in their religion and to push me forward to be a better Muslim, vice versa. So when I was pushed into that, I was told lies to say that he prayed and stuff, but he didn't.
Okay, subhanallah.
And when I found out, I was like, I came back and I pretend like nothing happened. It dragged on for 2 years. And then eventually they sent a divorce because I didn't speak to him.
Okay.
And it kind of broke mine and my mom's relationship because of that.
Okay.
So ever since, it's just kind of been rocky.
And
this was the hardest thing.
How many years ago was this?
I'm 28 now, so it's been.
So do you feel like they're just blocking you from getting married?
Yeah, because one of my family members told me I'd rather sit at home than to marry somebody out of the culture.
They said that to you?
Yeah, and that really hurt me.
Okay, and you've come across potential marriage prospects between now and then?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And what's the reason for them not transpiring?
The biggest thing is religion, because my family is completely on different things, and obviously after what happened to me, I pushed myself to seek knowledge, and that's when I came across your videos and I signed up to the course and everything. And alhamdulillah, it brought me closer to Allah, and everything that I do now is completely different to what I used to do. Where I thought I was doing the right thing, following my family, but they do things that is, not correct, basically. So
do you not have any male figure in the family that's looking out for you right now?
No.
SubhanAllah, this is very sad, very heartbreaking. Okay, so look, your situation is a situation of qada. So there's really not much that I can do personally to help you, because I'm not. Qada means judgment. Yeah. I'm not a qualified judge.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a qualified judge. That's why I'm gonna put you in touch as soon as we get off the phone to Ustad Muawiyah Tucker, who I mentioned to you, who's also Jamaican Revert, by the way.
Okay.
He's really understanding. Allah Bari. He's very good, very, very lovely, respectable person, mashallah, and he's very good at these kind of things, and he gives practical advice. Very practical advice. I'm gonna put you in the phone to him because he's a person that's gonna investigate your situation. Inshallah, I'm gonna prompt him to also. This is very important, sister, because you need a person who can play that male role to help you right now. And in the absence of having it in your family, the Sharia allows for a person to intervene who has the authority to do so, or is in place of one who has the authority to do so. So that's going to be him, because he's qualified to do the job, and he will help to try and guide you through that process. And what he will also do is he will even, I don't know how far he can, because you've got an accent. You don't sound like you're from London.
No, yeah, I'm not.
Okay, so I don't know if the guy would be willing to make the journey to London, but
okay, I don't mind making.
Yeah, well, the guy would primarily, because he'd want to check up with the guy, meet with the guy. He takes the job very seriously. Like, he will basically investigate him as a father should have investigated, whilst also trying to touch base with your father and keep him in the loop, so that the wali still does his job. But sometimes if the wali's like, you know what, look, I don't really know what's going on or what to look for my daughter, he can give authority as a trustee, as a wakil, someone he can entrust him basically to do the job, and that's what he will do. Does that make sense? But it's really important that girls like yourself know that when you're in this situation where your family members, your father's not being responsive, or you don't have anyone else to play that male figure role, you get someone like this to be able to do it. because it's just not fair that you're 28 years old, you've already done it the way that they asked you to do it. They lied to you based on what you're saying. Of course, there's two sides to every story, and I'm taking what you're saying on good faith. But and then since then they're blocking you. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And like I said, it doesn't seem like they've got religion at the forefront of their mind. So you need to get that external help. You really need to get that external help. What I would say to you as a parting advice, because like I said, unfortunately, there's not much more I can say. This is something that requires practical application where you need a person that has the know-how to do it, which goes beyond the scope of my jurisdiction. But what I would say to you is that I had a similar situation. You said he reverted about 3 months ago in the message, right?
No, 3 years ago he reverted.
I reverted 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a fully practicing revert, you're saying?
He doesn't have... he's not really, he doesn't have much knowledge. He knows the basics.
Okay, so here's what I would condition. If again, this is something that my grandfather did. My grandfather was approached by a white British man for his daughter. Okay, and he said, look, a kafir cannot marry Muslims, so keep it stepping, basically. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَا تُنْكِحُوا الْمُشْرِكِينَ حَتَّى يُؤْمِنُوا وَلَا عَبَدٌ مُؤْمِنٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن مُشْرِكٍ وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكُمْ. Allah said, a man who is a kafir, a polytheistic man, cannot marry a Muslim woman, no matter how great he looks. A slave Muslim, a Muslim who's a slave, is better than a kafir who's like amazing or whatever have you. So he says, sorry. He said, no, I'm willing to accept Islam. And I genuinely believe. So my grandfather wanted to make sure. Why are you just doing it for lip service, just so you can marry my daughter and keep it stepping? Because if you're going to be Muslim, you need to be a real Muslim. So the guy accepted Islam, and my grandfather said, I'm going to just see him. I'm just going to see what he's on. He didn't necessarily even tell him. He just said, I'm just going to observe him. He observed him for 6 months. The guy really became a real Muslim. He was coming to the masjid, praying, really, fasting Ramadan, proper, like he was on his deen, Allah barik. After 6 months of investigating and seeing this guy really is on his deen, he said to him, no problem, now I'll marry you off to my daughter. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is the only advice that I would give, is that he should be set a certain standard of religiosity to meet, because as you are my sister, I want the best for you, and I wouldn't want you to marry a man just based on his good manners. The Prophet said good manners in religion, both of them. He has to have good deen. And to marry a man who's deficient in his knowledge is to marry a man who's deficient in his manhood. Because part of what makes you a man is knowledge. Allah said in the Quran, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّمُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ, that the men have been placed in authority over the women, as caretakers of the women, as maintainers of the women. And in the Quran, Allah differentiates between the term rajul, which means man, and the term dhakar, which means male. And Imam Abdurrahman ibn Nasir al-Sa'di, when he explained this ayah in his tafsir, one of the reasons why men have been placed as caretakers over the women is in terms of him enforcing the religion in the house, him enforcing the commands of Allah in the house. And also finances. Some people take it only for the finances, but it's also for his religious knowledge. So how can a man enforce the religion of Allah in the house if he doesn't have the knowledge of the religion of Allah? So that is something primary. So I will speak to Ustad Ma'awiyah Tucker, and he's smart enough to kind of know and assess and say, look, you want to marry the girl, let's try and up your levels a bit. You should maybe try and, like he'll set him some targets and things like that, because that's the way it is. You want to marry someone who is a woman of righteousness, and وَمَا أُزَكِّي اللَّهِ وَمَا أُزَكِّي مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. I'm not trying to praise anyone before Allah Azza wa Jal, but you seem like a very good, decent sister. Allah, you're 28 years old, you've tried to do the best to keep your family happy, you're trying to seek knowledge, you're trying to better your deed. You know what I'm saying? A guy is not just going to walk onto a righteous woman like that, and he's not up in his levels. Do you see? So I would just request for you not to settle. Know your worth. Look, I'm being honest with you. Just speaking to you, you seem like you have a lot of worth, sister. So don't sell yourself short. Just because he speaks in a nice way. I'm sure he's a good guy, but don't marry a man who's deficient in his religion, because that's going to be the father of your kids. Your kids, what could be more painful than not being married is to be married with kids and then those kids become apostates because we're living in a society where people are where our kids are being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Ideologically. And the only way to preserve them and protect them is to have a strong Islamic household. So you need to marry a man who comes from a strong Islamic household, who's going to be a strong Islamic character. And this is my advice to all sisters I always give. Do not marry a man unless he's got a strong Islamic personality. And part of that strong Islamic personality is knowledge. He doesn't have to be a scholar. He doesn't have to be a student from Medina. He doesn't have to be back and forth from Egypt seeking knowledge. But he has to seek knowledge. There's a difference between a talib ilm, student of knowledge, and a seeker of knowledge. We all have to seek knowledge. The Prophet said, "Talab al-ilm faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslimatin." Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim man and Muslim women. It's obligatory upon all of us because our religion functions based upon knowledge. So that's really important, sister. I really want to drive that point home. Do you have where I'm coming from?
Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Inshallah. Is there anything else you'd like to ask or anything else I can help you with before we conclude?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Inshallah. Well, if there's anything else that you need from me personally, feel free to get in touch with my team that you're in touch with via WhatsApp. You're going to, inshallah ta'ala, going to get a message from them as well with regards to Ustad Ma'awiyah Taka, and I'm going to also just give him a little nudge. You can probably reach him during the weekdays, during office hours in his office, inshallah.
Okay, yeah.
Inshallah.
Okay.
So my heart goes out to you, and I really hope this works out for you, inshallah.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So you take care of yourself, okay?
Right, you too. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.
Wa alaikum salam.